A new home or condo is a massive investment, and if you're currently in the market, don't panic. We put together a comprehensive checklist to help you while navigating the world of buying new. In this video, we're going to dive deep and talk about everything related to new construction, including new builds to new condos. As well, did you know that all new builds in Ontario come with a 7-year builder's warranty that's backstopped by Tarion? When building or buying new construction, it's extremely important that we do our research. A lot of people get excited by the idea of they're going to buy a new condo, build their dream home, but they don't actually do the due diligence and research to make sure they understand exactly what they're getting into. Step number one, I recommend jump over to Tarion's website and check out the status of that Ontario builder. Tarion's got a list of every builder that's under the Tarion program, and from that we can find out their current status and make sure that we're working with someone that actually has the credentials and the backing of Tarion before we move forward. In addition, we can actually check out the builder's website and just find out what previous projects they've undertaken and get a feel for their style of construction, and you can often even find news articles and other information if you just simply Google the builder's name. Let's also check out their online reputation. Again, just Google the builder's name and get a feel for what projects have they done in the past, how did those projects go, and that's probably one of our best indicators of how this future project's going to go as well. In addition, once we've actually found out some of the builder's previous projects, why not go for a little drive and check those projects out? And while you're in the area, I think it's critical to actually take the time to talk to some homeowners or some condo owners that currently live in that builder's buildings so that you can get a feel for what their experience was like. Let's really do our research and due diligence. We're making a massive investment by buying or building a new home or new condo, so let's do the due diligence and research on the back end to make sure we understand exactly what we're getting and we're choosing the right builder. Before buying or building new, it's also extremely important that we go out and check out the builder's sales office. In addition, that's where their show suite or show home's going to be, and we need to walk through that, check it out. But again, understand that that show unit or show home may not be the final product that you're buying, and it's extremely important we understand that process as well. One of the biggest mistakes buyers make when looking at buying new or building new is they fall in love with the show unit, not realizing what their actual unit's going to provide. As well, a lot of people make a misunderstanding when it comes to total square footage. It's really important when you're looking at buying a new condo that you understand many sales staff will include in the total square footage the balcony or the terrace. So we need to make sure that you understand what you're buying when it comes to new condos and new builds. When it comes to buying a new condo, one of the things I really struggled with is how do you buy just off of drawings, because the building's not actually built when you're buying new into a condo development. Tarion, thankfully, they've actually got some great blog posts they shared with me that really broke down some of the best practices that you guys need to do when looking at buying a condo here in Ontario, Canada. The number one thing you need to know about buying a new condo, that's a condo that's currently being built, if your project gets canceled, your deposit is still protected under the Condominium Act, and additional protection is provided by Tarion. The second tip I learned from Tarion's blog was there's actually a 10-day cooling off period when it comes to buying new condos. So when you're buying from a drawing, let's say you get really excited in the sales room and you make that commitment, and now you actually a day or two goes by and you start stressing, you're like, oh, I don't know if I made the right decision. Don't panic. You actually have a 10-day cooling off period in Ontario, Canada. This is why it's so important that we really understand the purchasing process and understand all the detailed steps. Tip number 3 that Tarion shared with me is you need to have your real estate lawyer actually review the purchase and sale agreement as well as the addendum. A lot of new investors, a lot of new buyers when it comes to condos make the mistake of thinking that the showroom is exactly the unit they're buying, but the devil's in the details. So let's go through the details with our lawyers, familiarize ourselves with exactly what we're purchasing so we make sure that there's no misunderstandings between our expectations and realities when it's time to close and get occupancy on our new build condo. Now let's talk about occupancy dates. So I've never bought new, so I want to be very precise with my words, hence I've got my phone out. So the builder sets your occupancy date as per the law. The builder may change the initial occupancy date by giving you a notice in advance. These dates are clearly specified in the agreement of purchase and sale under the statement of critical dates. In a condominium building, you may be asked to move into a building when the top floors and common elements may not be complete. This is referred to as your interim occupancy during this period. You will be paying an interim occupancy fee. It usually takes the builder a few months to complete the building. That's when the condo board is set up and your mortgage payments kick in. Another mistake people make when dealing with new builds is not reading the paperwork. It's extremely important that we understand what's included in that agreement of purchase and sale as well as in the addendum. Now, lots of times we don't have to really read paperwork, you know, that iTunes agreement or all those different EULAs you just skip and click through. That's whatever, that's real life. But when you're purchasing a new build condo or home, it's extremely important you understand what's in that agreement of purchase and sale and what's in that addendum. Anything that's not included in there cannot be covered under your home warranty. So it's extremely important that you walk through that agreement of purchase and sale, and I highly recommend you do so with your real estate lawyer to make sure you understand exactly what you're buying. When looking at buying or building new construction and breaking it down into a pro and con list, one of the first pros that's quite obvious to most people is you can custom tailor the property to your needs or specifications. Now this is often done through upgrades, versus with a resale home you have to close on the property first, then custom tailor it to your needs. Now this sounds very simple at first, but it was actually my buddy Jeff Weibel when he was going through building his own home that broke it down for me in a much simpler manner where I really understood the pro behind this. And the key is, Jeff could actually mortgage his upgrades. So let's actually jump over to a whiteboard because I think it makes a lot more sense if I can break it down for you guys on this whiteboard. So again, simple example laid out. And so if we're looking at upgrading during construction, let's start with a base price of $400,000. So whether this be a new build home or a condo, $50,000 in upgrade, so we're $450,000 total all into the property. Now at an 80% loan to value, that's $360,000 in a new mortgage, or a 20% down payment looks like $90,000. So in this example, we need $90,000 in order to buy this property. Where if we're looking at after completion or with a resale home, let's start with a $400,000 base. So at an 80% loan to value, that's a $320,000 mortgage or an $80,000 down payment at a 20%. Then $50,000 in upgrades or renovations. That means in cash we need $130,000 for a resale home or to do our upgrades after the fact. So this is actually a massive thing that we need to be aware of. That's a $40,000 difference. So that being said, thank you Jeff so much for the pro tip. Really appreciate it, bud. Another mistake that many people when dealing with new build houses or condos make is not familiarizing themselves with the warranty process and being slow to make a warranty claim. Now it's extremely important that we read up and understand our maintenance requirements, what our maintenance obligations are as the new homeowner. So it's extremely important that you understand what your obligations are as well as what the builder's obligations are when it comes to your new build, whether that be a new build home or condo. You guys know I've never bought or built new before, so this is a whole new process for me. But while I was learning on Terion's blog, I actually discovered one of the big reasons people love buying new build condos is they can actually put down a small deposit today and they don't have to come up with the rest of the funds or qualify for the mortgage until the future. So a lot of people view this as a way to control the asset today or get into the real estate market with very little money down. Hey guys, I have an important message from Terion. New builds run the risk of delays and in rare cases even cancellations. Make sure you know what kind of delay is allowed according to the agreement of purchase and sale and under what circumstances you might be eligible for compensation. Also be mindful of the tentative occupancy date and firm occupancy dates communicated by your builder. This will help you to better plan your move into the new house or condominium. Sometimes in rare cases project cancellations may also happen. This is an inherent risk of buying pre-construction. construction. Another con that comes to mind for many people when thinking about buying or building new is living in a construction site. Now, you guys may or may not know this, but the mansion, that's the house where I live and shoot these videos, it's in a new subdivision in London, Ontario, and we're living in an active construction site. Now, to me, this is one of those problems or profit situations where you need just to think about it yourself and weigh the pros and cons of living in that new construction. Alternatively, a strategy to mitigate this would simply be looking at what phase of the development or construction that you're going to be moving into. So for example, in my case, this house, this is actually, I believe, phase 2 of a 3-phase process. So the houses behind us are still under construction while this whole side of the neighborhood is all finished. To me, not a big deal. When dealing with new builds, there's very little room for negotiation when it comes to base prices. However, a lot of builders make their money in the upgrades, which means there's an opportunity for us to negotiate. In fact, it's industry standard for builders to charge double the subtrade fee. So often we have lots of room for negotiation. For example, say you're spending $5,000 on upgrades, you can probably get a 10% discount if you negotiate effectively. If you're spending a lot more, let's say 50 grand on upgrades, it's not uncommon to be able to get a 20 to a 30% or sometimes even more discount on those upgrades. So make sure you're negotiating smart when it comes to your new build. One more important message from Terion. Terion wanted to add that before closing the deal, talk to a reputable lawyer and ask for help to cap the HST on closing. This will save you some surprises when the final payment will be made. That was new information to me. Thank you, Terion, for the great tip. For further information, jump in the video description down below and find a link to Terion's blogs with all kinds of more information and more details and tips and tricks that you should be taking when looking at buying or building new.